hello, how you doing? We're going to be going through the completionist response right now.
Statements about what the charity was doing in order to solicit donations. 2. The completionist stole donations that were supposed to go to the Open Hand Foundation. And 3. The revenue generated by the golf tournament run by Jirard's family was not being sent to the Open Hand Foundation. These are extremely serious allegations.
Yes,
and to be
very
clear,
serious.
when I made those allegations, I was being extremely serious. I wouldn't say these types of things without having a very good reason to do so. And now, finally, after almost an entire month, the completionist has responded. And his response is terrible. It's one of the worst videos I've ever seen. He is manipulative, he lies, he blames everyone else, he provides no relevant evidence, he misdirects, he constructs multiple strawman arguments, and best of all, he threatens legal action against me. Jirard seems to think that just saying you didn't do something means you didn't do it, regardless of whether or not you actually did. And if you say it with enough emotion, it must be true.
Yeah,
initially, this seemed to work, with all of his friends and sycophants exclaiming
a lot of
confidently
his
on
friends
Twitter
were
that
like,
he had
wow,
done
he's
nothing
great,
wrong. And it
he's
was actually
wonderful.
mutahar and I that were the villains, because you see, we aren't experts, and we don't know what we are talking about. I have to admit, when I made my previous videos, I kind of glossed over some of the evidence. I basically assumed that the fraud was so obvious I didn't need to explain, but evidently, this isn't the case. So in this video, I'm going to respond to Jirard and make it clear that he did in fact commit charity fraud. He did in fact embezzle donations, and the golf money is in fact still missing. The worst thing in the world. He distances himself completely from the golf tournament, which is probably wise, and he seems to apologize for providing misleading statements. Except he doesn't. He apologizes if you felt that you were misled, and he apologizes for making statements that were potentially misleading. Let's listen to what he has to say.
I'm disappointed that I was not more straightforward regarding the foundation's timeline for making donations,
and
that I made statements potentially implying donations were made
not saying anything.
Been. It took too long for clear action to occur,
How
and I
long?
apologize for all of this. But such inaction was not done for any selfish or malicious reasons. Most importantly, I want to apologize to anyone who ever donated over the years who felt they were wronged or led astray by any of this.
Well, I think no one should donate to you anymore. I think no one should donate to your thing anymore.
Jirard does not take much responsibility or own up to this in any significant way. Instead, he says he made claims that were potentially implying that donations were made, and that he was disappointed because he wasn't straightforward enough about the timeline. But let's look at what Jirard actually said.
My father, my brother, and I started a foundation called the Open Hand Foundation that raises money for dementia research and treatment for organizations all over the world.
That's right, he does.
Partnering up with
That's
Alzheimer's
where he messes
Association,
himself over.
currently working with the University of San Francisco, and we're kind of one of their main funding support partners going into all of this.
He said in 2020 that he was currently one of the main funding support partners of the University of San Francisco.
That's where he messed
so
up.
batshit insane, it's impressive.
This is where he messes up.
The Open Hand Foundation has never given a single dollar to the University of San Francisco. This lie implies many things. It doesn't just mean they give money to the USF, it means they give so much money that it's one of their main funding support partners.
That's the big
issue. It means
issue.
that Jirard has to know exactly how much money the Open Hand Foundation is giving. He has to know how much money other entities are giving, and then he has to compare the two to conclude that his contributions are large enough to substantiate the use of the word main. This lie cannot happen by
hundreds
accident.
of thousands
And the
of
funny
dollars.
thing
That's
about
what
this
people
lie
think.
is that right before it, he says that he'll soon be working with the Alzheimer's Association. This is funny because in this clip from 2020, he name drops two organizations that still to this day have not received a single penny.
He has
and
not
of course,
given
we know
any
that
money
Jirard was
to them.
also
That's
saying
the
he worked with
problem.
organizations big and small across the entire world.
We just, every year, we try to raise as much money as possible, and then we go work with, Alzheimer's Association of America, University of San Francisco, Association for FTD, which is what my mom had, FTD. So we've, worked with big and small organizations across the board.
No, you haven't.
Dementia research,
They didn't work with anybody.
Trying to help folks
they didn't give money to anybody.
Working with organizations like USF, FTD Association of America, Alzheimer's Association of America, and so many more.
That's
And,
the issue.
my
He didn't give
dad's
any money to
working
anybody.
hard over these last, I'd say last decade or so, working with so
I'm
many organizations
glad
to raise
that
money
Karl
for
is
dementia
coming
research,
in with
prevention,
receipts.
helping
I
families
am glad that he's coming with
affected by
receipts.
dementia.
No reasonable person can take this any other way than by thinking that the Open Hand Foundation was giving these organizations money, because the simple fact is that the Open Hand Foundation doesn't do anything else. They are simply a middleman, taking money from the fans of the Completionist and moving it to a more worthwhile entity. It's literally their only job, and Jirard was always using past and current tense, not future tense. This isn't not being straightforward about the timeline, it's lying about the timeline. And not only did Jirard lie about giving money or being associated with charities, he lied about what the charity was doing. Listen to this.
We are raising money for dementia research and treatment, more specifically helping families and those loved ones who've been affected by early onset dementia and who are learning how their lives are changing forever, what tools and what necessities they're going to need as they go forward taking care of their loved ones.
These are very, very specific claims, and they are complete fabrications. He is lying out of his ass, and he did this constantly.
Essentially, we're raising money for dementia research and prevention, specifically for people, for families rather, who just found out that a loved one of theirs has been affected by dementia.
Yeah, you're raising money for it. You didn't give jack shit.
Raising
You
money
didn't give jack
for
squat.
dementia research.
Dang it.
We're trying to help those who are
You
affected
didn't
by
get anything.
Alzheimer's, all types of dementia, and beyond. Specifically, families who have just found out that a loved one has dementia, and the next steps that are taken to help them transition from the shock of it all to the next steps of getting in-house care and so much more.
Jirard lied about giving money, Jirard lied about working with organizations, and Jirard lied about how the charity was helping victims of dementia, and he was using those lies to solicit donations. This is the textbook definition of charity fraud. Britannica states that charity fraud is a type of fraud that occurs when charitable organizations that solicit funds from the public for philanthropic goals, such as seeking cures for diseases, solicit donations in a deceptive manner, or use the monies that they collect for purposes not intended by the donors. I have definitively shown that Jirard was deceptive and thus have already proven he committed charity fraud. But what about using money in a way not intended by the donors? Let's investigate that claim. Now, I never used the word embezzled in any of my videos, but Jirard kept bringing it up, and he was adamant that he had not embezzled any money.
Saying that we are fraudsters, that what we are doing is illegal and constitutes charity fraud, that we are using my dead mother's name to potentially embezzle money and steal is categorically false.
For those who don't know what embezzlement means, it's simple. It means theft or misappropriation of funds placed in one's trust. With the power of math, I concluded that money from bits, subs, and merch raised by Indieland wasn't going to the Open Hand Foundation. And not only that, this means all the bits, subs, and all of that extra revenue that Jirard promised us would go to Open Hand wasn't sent over either. This is a pretty specific claim. I mean, how on earth would I know that if I was using bad math and missing information, as Jirard asserts?
And these accusations are the result of bad math and missing information.
And yet, I was correct, and Jirard admitted this in his response.
Income from Twitch subscriptions and bits, along with merchandise, have offset some of the production costs.
See, that's what I didn't catch the first time. Why did any of the things given to the charity at all, in the name of charity, go to production costs? That should not have happened. That is not something that the charity should ever pay for.
So to say the money is missing is simply wrong.
This was shocking to me. Does Jirard not understand that he is admitting to embezzlement here? To be clear, a charity using donations to cover expenses isn't illegal. It's totally normal and common. But that's not what Jirard did. Jirard lied to the public and said that this money was going to charity and that he wasn't touching any of it.
You can do bits, you can do subs, you can actually donate money. If you are more like, I want a material thing, you can do a shirt, you can do a coin, it all goes to charity, it's all great. Bits,
all
subs,
goes to charity.
YouTube memberships or YouTube super chats, anything that supports us is going to the foundation at the very end.
As a reminder, all
everything goes to the foundation,
including Amazon Prime's, go towards the charity as well. So it's
go towards the charity.
All going for
he didn't say it goes to production costs.
On YouTube, super chats, all that goes to the charity as well. And hey,
he
if you want to get a t-shirt,
all
all
goes
of
to
the
the charity.
proceeds from the
This
shirt
is where
also
you
go to
fucked
charity.
up.
Your primes,
it's
your
embezzlement,
gift subs, your bits,
pretty much.
donations, all
From
go to
what I
charity. You don't
understand.
take any of it.
Bits and subs on Twitch, memberships, super chats on YouTube, all goes to the cause. If you want to buy an Indieland t-shirt, you
all
can
goes
totally
to the
do
cause.
that. And for the folks who are in attendance, you can actually go buy one from the lobby. So please go do that. All the proceeds and all those things do go to charity. We don't touch any of it.
Wow.
Hey, all bits, all subscriptions, and all donations go directly to charity. We're taking none of it.
Okay,
it's
and
all
if the
for
charity
a good
did,
cause.
if the charity did pay for it,
YouTube, super chats, all
then
that
it
goes to
should have
charity
been
as well.
on
Everything
the
on
tax
stream today,
return.
whether you're donating bits or subs or donations towards any goals via the Tiltify account, if you buy a t-shirt, anything like that, all the money goes towards dementia research. We make none of it. It all goes for the good cause.
We make none of it.
All donations, all super chats, all YouTube memberships, basically anything that's tied to donating or subscribing in a financial way to us is going to charity. We're not touching any of it. It's all going for a good cause.
As a reminder, guys, all bits,
not
subs,
to production costs.
donations,
100% to the charity.
Amazon Prime or Prime Gaming subs, and t-shirt sales all go to charity. So we touch none of it. It all goes for a good cause.
We touch
All
none
the
of it.
donations and bit subscriptions that are happening on stream today all go towards the charity. If you buy a t-shirt, if you buy our challenge coin, that also all goes to charity.
All subs during the stream
All
for the next
goes
3
to
or 4
charity.
days.
See, he
go
put
towards the
his foot in
foundation.
his mouth,
All the
and
money goes to
Karl
the
is coming
Foundation,
with
an
the
organization that we
receipts.
started in honor of my mom, and all that money goes to dementia research. We don't touch any of it. We just work with the people who do need the money. If you want to buy a t-shirt, you should buy a t-shirt. All the proceeds go there. Bits, subs, gift subs, super
proceeds
chats,
go there.
memberships, anything financially involved with the show goes to dementia research.
And all the money that we are raising,
all
whether you are
goes
giving
to
us
research.
bits, whether you're giving us subs, whether you're buying t-shirts or pins or whatever the hell we're selling, anything and everything in between, all proceeds are going to charity. Give subs to other people. You can buy subs for yourself. You can give
this is
bits.
damning
all
right
that
here.
goes to charity. You can
This
buy a
is
t-shirt.
receipts.
We have a challenge coin that
Receipts.
can legally be considered a weapon. If you throw it, it's very heavy. All of this stuff is going to charity. Income from Twitch subscriptions and bits, along with merchandise, have offset some of the production costs.
Offset
and not only did
production
Jirard
costs.
say this many times, it was plastered on screen during the entire
Yep.
event for multiple
Damn.
years. What you need to understand is that Jirard isn't a charity.
He messed
is an
up.
individual. When you give a bit
He
or a
messed
sub to
up.
his Twitch channel, you aren't giving money to charity. You're giving money to Jirard. Jirard said, give me money in the form of bits and subs, and I will give that money to charity. He told his fans and people that look up to him, entrust your hard-earned money to me, and I will give all of that money to the Open Hand Foundation.
Yeah, that's
but you know
where
what
he messed
happened when
up
everyone
big
gave
time.
Jirard their money, assuming it would go to charity? Jirard said, fuck you, I've changed my mind. I'm going to spend that money
Pretty
on something
much.
else. I'm going to spend that money on something that directly benefits myself. This is again
Pretty
textbook
much.
charity fraud and is the literal definition of embezzlement.
Wow,
Some might
he
say, but
did
Karl, Jirard
misappropriate
isn't spending
funds.
money on himself. He's spending money
Wow.
to fund Indieland. But Indieland
Wow.
is Jirard. It's his event, run by his company, streamed on his Twitch channel. Of everyone in the entire world who benefits from Indieland, it's Jirard who benefits the most. He gets the Twitch followers, he gets the media
Wow.
attention, he gets to mingle with game developers and celebrities, he gets all the credit. And do you really think that everyone who subscribes during Indieland instantly cancels their subscription the moment it ends? Jirard
No,
taking
they
donations to
don't.
pay for Indieland is not only him spending donations on himself, it's him paying for something that he directly benefits from.
Wow.
But besides, what he spends that money on is ultimately irrelevant. He said he would give that money to charity, but
said
instead he
all of
spent
it.
it. That's fraud,
He said
that's
all
theft,
of
and
it.
that is embezzlement. And what makes this even worse is that he would then go and lie, trying to take credit for paying for everything himself.
So for those guys don't know, we had a show last year, and it went great, but it was very expensive, and TOBG covered the cost of it, but we
TOBG covered the cost of it.
We want to make sure that, like, as we do charity events, that we're not costing the charity organization
we're not costing the charity.
Our awesome sponsors, the guys at FlyQuest have been so supportive. We want to make sure that the money that we do raise actually goes to charity and is spent properly.
Jirard tries to explain why he kept the money for so many years, saying that he wanted to make a restricted donation, and he needed enough money to do that.
This is one of the big reasons as to why the donation took so long. The organization did not raise enough money to make the impact that would allow the funds to be restricted and avoid those high admin costs.
First, I need to point out what seems to be obvious to me, but hardly anyone else seems to acknowledge. Not passing along money people have entrusted to you to give to charity because you don't have enough money and you really want to make a restricted donation is completely bullshit.
Yeah,
that is not a sufficient reason to hold funds. This is a completely unnecessary hurdle to place.
It is
if
very
you, as
unnecessary.
An entity, already have a lot of money and you want your donation to be restricted, so be it. But if you keep other people's money and mislead people because of your grandiose vision of how you think you should impact the world, you're just a pile of garbage. At minimum, you should ask the public first if this was okay, and the fact that you didn't shows a total disrespect for the property of others. But let's be honest, this excuse is just another lie. Remember, I emailed the Open Hand Foundation over a month ago, asking them why they hadn't donated the money.
You gotta love the
Did Jirard
receipts.
forget that? He certainly hopes you did. Let me refresh your memory. In the official Open Hand response from Jacques, the vice president of the Open Hand Foundation, he said they had it donated because they didn't know who to donate to. They said they were still looking for a beneficiary and even asked me.
So they're the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is saying, pretty much. For the right hand, which is the actual president, said that they don't know who to send it to. The left hand, Jirard, right now is saying, oh, because they wanted an unrestricted donation. Bullshit.
I had suggestions. We even asked Jirard why he hadn't donated the money, and he said that he only found out recently and that it was not fucking cool that no money had been donated.
I was made aware in 2021 when the money hadn't moved yet, and that's what made me go, that's not fucking cool, and that's when I got personally involved to move it.
So we asked multiple people from the Open Hand Foundation, and none of them mentioned anything about waiting for a restricted donation. Now, a month later, their story has completely changed. Apparently, this was the plan all along. And you know what's really interesting? They only donated $600,000. They had more than that amount of money over a year ago in 2022. We're almost in 2024. Isn't it convenient that $600,000 is suddenly enough to be a restricted donation, when over a year ago, it wasn't? This hurdle seemed to magically vanish as soon as someone discovered they hadn't donated any money. In fact, I can prove this hurdle never even existed. You can go to the AFTD website right now and choose exactly where your donation goes. You don't need to donate $600,000, and you don't even need to steal donations for 10 years to do it. And the icing on the cake is that when me and mutahar spoke with Jirard, he outright admitted the only reason they were looking to donate the money now is because he was faced with the prospect of this going public. Yeah, that makes sense.
So as of now, the money is...
So yeah, he's damage control. Big time damage control. Holy crap.
As far as your understanding, that $660,000 roughly is still sitting in your, like, that charity account, waiting for a benefactor at the right time.
I mean, as of this week, we've been having conversations about moving it as early as today or tomorrow, just because the pressure I got from you guys, if I'm being quite honest.
So yeah, he's being honest there.
But like, this is a private fight that I've been...
He doesn't want his personal empire to come crumbling down, is what it is.
Dealing with for months with my family, and I even told my family, hey, this is the last Indie Land I'm ever going to do, because this is the 10th year anniversary of my mom's passing, and when I kind of found all this information out, I was very unhappy with what things were going, and
oh yeah,
he knew this was deceptive and wrong the entire time.
I'm not trying to ask for forgiveness. I'm not trying to hide this, but what would you guys like me to do? Because I want to do right by everyone involved on my side, and I want to absolve myself of this as best I can, and I know I can't. And you know,
you can never absolve yourself in this.
When you guys will, whatever you guys will say, this is gonna follow me for the
and
rest of my life.
I'm glad Karl is calling you off on this.
I just want to be able to do right by you guys and by my community and by my family at this point. And I just want, you know, like I literally am.
You know what doing right would have been? Every year giving the money that was given to you directly to foundations. That's what doing right would have been.
About to like donate all this money today and prior to that earlier this week and the week before, and I've just been sitting here crippled trying to figure out the best way to handle this, because I felt like if I donated the money and the minute you guys emailed me, it'd be a situation of, well, he's trying to hide it and he's admitting guilt by doing that. And I never felt that way, but I understand completely that you guys could easily argue that, and it would just make me look more like a scumbag. And you know, I just
you already are a scumbag, pretty much. Completionist.
Even if I survive this somehow, even if this is like people are like, well, whatever, that's how it is. Yeah. It's going to take the passion out of what I do. People aren't going to trust me ever again. I'm not going to trust myself ever again. And I'm just going to walk away from all this. Like, this is like me being like, great, so I'm out. Not just of content creation or being an online personality.
Yeah, you just don't like that you were caught. It's pretty much.
The simple reality is that if we had not made the videos we did, that money would still be sitting in their bank account doing nothing to fight dementia. And this leads me towards the worst part of Jirard's video.
Let's start with the Open Hand Foundation's formation. When my mother passed away in 2013, we donated her
using
brain
his
and spinal
mom's
cord to the same
name.
academics and doctors we worked with to further advance their research. There's a link in the description to her autopsy report that confirms her brain and spinal cord were both donated to science.
I hate
to say this, but it needs to be said. The way Jirard uses his dead mother is sickening. When investigating Jirard, I had to watch clip after clip after clip, year after year after year, of him constantly bringing up his dead mother every single chance he gets.
And I understand it's for pity. It's for absolutely for pity. So you can give them your pity bucks. So basically, you can give them money because, oh, poor Julio, oh, poor everybody. It does suck to lose a parent, honestly. It really does suck to lose a parent. My dad lost a parent. I saw how much he suffered from it. It's really, really painful. I cannot imagine how bad it is to still have both of my parents here. So I'm not saying it's like, oh my God, he should never feel any pain. But just mention it once. Don't mention it like 50 times kind of thing, It becomes like, oh, almost like a grifting type of thing. Like you're a grifter at that point, almost. I don't know. That's how I feel. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. And why the hell did that make a noise? Holy crap.
Uses her to try and gain sympathy, he uses her to try to get money, and he uses her as a shield against criticism. It is utterly disgusting. I recently lost my mother too, and I know the pain of losing a parent. In fact, I've lost both of my parents. I'm not someone who is unaware of how that feels, but seeing Jirard use his mother's death as a weapon and a shield is messed up on so many levels that it makes me feel nauseous.
He makes a really good point
brings her
here.
up again multiple times in this video, and every single time was not only unnecessary, it was completely inappropriate and manipulative. With all of this being said, there was one thing I did get wrong. I said the tax filings
and this is where Karl Jobst is awesome, because
these filings don't seem to be done properly, and they aren't even signed, which is definitely a legal requirement.
The Foundation files all their taxes electronically, which does not require a physical signature on the actual forms. Only e-file authorization forms that are sent from a certified public accountant.
So I like that he's accepting the fact that he made a mistake.
Not only is this legal, but it is the industry standard
I am
for
glad that
filing
he's accepting that.
here in the United States.
That makes him
It pains me to say
much
this,
better than
but I was incorrect. The forms were signed. This was a throwaway line that was poorly researched, and I shouldn't have said it. It meant nothing, it affected nothing, and I based none of my claims on this fact. Still, I owe everyone, and especially Jirard, an apology. So Jirard, from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry that when discussing your multiple examples of committing charity fraud, I said the open-hand tax filings weren't signed. Most of Jirard's video is him going over information unrelated to me, my videos, or my claims. He hardly addresses my concerns about the golf charity event money, essentially saying, we didn't take the money, trust me bro. He provides no bank statements, no accounting, nothing.
No bro, I'm not
just
gonna trust
have to take this proven liar at his word, which unfortunately I'm not willing to do. And what he does say doesn't even make sense. Listen to this.
Finally, pledges and donations are not always collected at the same time of the event. It might take a few months to receive the funds, often rolling them into the following year's income. As for what the costs are to run an event like this, there are event organizers, venue expenses, crafts and catering, event dinners, support staff, production equipment, rentals, event branded merchandise, security, insurance, and more. Smaller events have smaller costs, and as the foundation scale the events, the expenses increase proportionally.
He says donations from the golf tournaments carry across into the next year, but that doesn't happen. The money doesn't appear in any of the later years.
It doesn't appear in any of the later years.
Indyland raised over $100,000 according to the lead director of Indyland, Michael Barrity. I think this figure is especially trustworthy given that it's not coming from Jirard or anyone in his family. Jamie Curtis also gave Openhand $25,000. Just those two sources alone is already way over the amount of revenue that Openhand declared for that year, which was just $117,000. The golf money is gone. And what's even crazier is that despite Openhand not getting any of that golf money, they still took money from other donations to pay for the golf event. Jirard ignores this completely and just tries to confuse everyone. He provides an order from 2014, a year that no one cares about. He breaks down income and expenses from 2023, another year that no one cares about because we don't even have the tax filings yet. Almost everything in the video is completely void of purpose and is a huge waste of time. I'm not sure if Jirard is either too stupid to understand what we said or if he is intentionally being stupid in order to make this as confusing as possible. At the end of the video, Jirard gets angry, puffs out his chest, and attempts to scare me.
Furthermore, my family and I are in serious conversations with our legal teams regarding next steps, as the allegations that have been made with complete disregard for the truth of the matter. These allegations were made by individuals who self-admittedly aren't even financial or legal professionals. These allegations are slanderous, and we believe we're done with selfish intent.
What a pathetic bitch. The guy who lied to his fans for years, taking hundreds of thousands of dollars of their money by misleading them. The guy who kept donations for a decade and only donated because he got caught. The guy who spent donations on himself. The guy who abused the trust of his friends and dragged them into this. The guy who jeopardized the financial security of all of his employees because of his sheer stupidity and greed has the gall to threaten legal action. What an absolute buffoon. If Jirard or his family are stupid enough to go after me, I wish them the best of luck. The actions of Jirard are not the actions of a nice guy. He lies chronically, he has no respect for the property of his fans, he is manipulative, he disrespects his own mother who cannot speak for herself by constantly dragging her into this. He takes no responsibility for what he did. He blames everyone else for being too stupid and easily misled, and he attacks those that rightfully call him out for his shortcomings. And it seems like some of Jirard's friends don't mind if he commits a bit of charity fraud here or there either. They don't mind if he steals and lies and threatens life-changing legal action when he's the one at fault. They don't mind if Jirard takes objectively immoral action against others as long as he's pleasant and friendly to them. Because at the end of the day, as long as Jirard's nice to them, that's all they care about. That's
one thing I didn't like. Yeah, everyone is fine with what he did. Everyone is fine with everything. All of his friends are fine with it. As long as he was nice to them. Because he's a stand-up looking guy. No, if you commit charity fraud, you could freaking be the Dalai Lama, but you're committing charity fraud. So that's what should be
Their moral compass leads them directly back to themselves, and that's why if I damage Jirard, I damage them, and they hate me for it. At the end of the day, this isn't just about Jirard. This is about raising awareness that these types of people exist. There are people out there who don't care if people lie. They don't care if the audience is manipulated and abused, as long as they are within this small group who ultimately benefits. You need to be very wary of those who come with a smile, because they are not always genuine, and if you are not careful, you will eventually fall victim.
Just like he did. And I do like the response that he did. I do like the way that he went through every single thing that he needed to go through, that he was called on. I love this. Kyle is a guy I definitely respect. I really respect the dude. I really do. Because he actually makes sure that he's not saying anything libel and slanderous. Why? Because he's already being sued by Billy Mitchell, supposedly, for being supposedly slanderous. He is actually being sued, but it's supposedly for being slanderous himself. So he knows how to say things in a way that will not be slanderous and will not, he brings receipts. If you bring receipts, it's not a lie. It's kind of the way it goes. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching through all of this. I really appreciate you. This is the Matt Salvi saying I will leave because it's already very, very late. It's the Matt Salvi's little friend over here. Appreciate you. Ada, and Naima.